things are on my mind. The decision sets in. One love will turn your skin. The love is right. Let them have their time. And I have this notion. Let's keep these wheels in motion. In motion. And it's worse you for that I did not know. Did you think I would let it go? Oh no. And in time, yes, I'll think it's absurd. But until then, you'll leave your words. Play on. Play on. Now it's time to defend your lies. Lies you've been feeding me all this time. And will you reoffend? Oh, darling. You say that you are innocent, but your words, they seem irrelevant, but still play on. Now it's time to defend your lies. Lies you've been feeding me all this time. And will you reoffend? Oh, darling. Oh, you have reached your lover's end. No more. Will we make pretend like we something to fight for. Oh. We had nothing to fight for. 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 You were never the one to believe in hostilities, but you still enforced the worst upon me. Upon me. All you wanted was love, but that was never enough. No, never enough. 'Cause you were chasing your dreams, now you can't redeem yourself. 'Cause you were chasing your dreams, now you can't redeem yourself. Disregarding your name, your smell is all that remains. They say you're an SLUT, but that doesn't sit well with me. It doesn't sit well with me. I remembered what you'd say. We're all looking to be alone. And somehow, someday, we'll find what we're looking for. Till then, you'll still be a boy.
Good evening, race fans. I'm part here, of course, and it's the GT Alphas GT3 World Championship 2023, round number 4. And we're in America for Laguna Seca, the WeatherTech Raceway, of course. Very tricky circuit. This is going to be a test to all the drivers. This is the driver lineup for the grid this evening. And without further ado, let's get the grid set, shall we? It's going to be an interesting race. We've got some of the title challenges a little bit further down the grid this evening. Stormfly, absolute disaster last week. Could not do anything more than crash into the pits. But he's on pole. Did have the fastest lap in, the fastest overall race time in the sprint race. Tech Racing was an absolute demon last week. Maximum points for Tech Racing for what was an awesome performance, particularly in that feature race. Absolutely dominated. Join him on the front row. Aero again, another solid top 3 performance. And the big surprise of the series, probably more for him than anybody else actually, is TJ. Still floating around there in that top 5. Wiggy chucked in a very good performance as well. That puts him in 5th position. He'll be joined by Mr. Mid-Table himself. Perennially, he seems to be 6th a lot, the truth. But he's there again in 6th position. And returning after a week in the exile that was Division 2, having missed round 2, it's Bonnie Val. And off the back of a 2-hour race at Daytona, in which he put in a pretty good shift, to be fair. We'll see how he fares in terms of pace. Just behind him, Slipstream, who's been putting in some fabulous performances in that AMG Mercedes-Benz. And he'll have Avalon behind him in 9th position. Behind them is Hovercraft, then Osman, then it will be Willard, who again, for the second week running, has found himself in, not second week running, for the second time has found himself in Division 1, which is always good. Wooly behind him, and then Jay, and then if he arrives, which he hasn't done thus far, it will be Newdson. Thanks, Aero, for jumping the gun there. I hadn't finished. I have now. I literally only just done it. Keep up, my friend. Keep up. Right. Everyone's here, bar Newdson. We're missing one driver. Not bad. We're keeping with full lobbies. I'm liking this. I like it. I like it a lot. So, listen, turn 1, guys. Don't be a dick. We know how mad it can be. First race, 20 minutes. You're going to sprint to the end. It's all about pace. It's all about getting your car safely to the end of the race. And so that's what we're going to concentrate on in this first sprint race. That will set the grid, of course, for the following feature. It will also set your grid position for next week. I'm not going to bring up the tables today. We'll start looking at the championship tables after round 5. That's when we'll start to see it shaping up properly, particularly with for teams and the individual classes and stuff. For now, we're just going to get on with the racing. And we'll do a quick ready check. I think everyone's going to be ready anyway. But yeah, we're starting. Anyone wondering, we're starting half hour late. There was a 6-hour endurance race today. A lot of the guys in this lobby were competing in that for various teams, and I was broadcasting it. I needed a break in between. Right. Without further ado, I think it's time to get cracking. What do we want? Race car noises. When do we want them? Yeah. Down with Body Val. So we've got a good run down to turn 1. That's 4, that's 5 lights. Come on, guys, we don't want any red flags here. We want to go straight down, get on with it, no messing around. Good start from Body Val. Had a little look around the outside, but backing out, doesn't want to stay on that brown stuff. How are we looking? Braking, everyone's braking well, No one doing anything stupid. And we are through safely. A little bit of touchy there. Body Val gets all kinds of wrong. Does rescue it. Little touch there as well on the side. I think that was Slipstream. Got caught there. That might be a penalty worth looking at. Would that cast an unsafe rejoin or a racing incident? I think that's a racing incident for me. Well, so Tech Racing with a great start gets itself into the lead of this race, and the Australian driver in the last couple of weeks has really started to demonstrate some phenomenal pace in that GT3, and I think we've got a force to be reckoned with here. Stormfly will want to put the disaster of the feature race last week behind him, and it went. If it could have gone wrong last week for Stormfly, it absolutely did. So this week he is really looking to make sure that doesn't happen again, and that everything that went wrong is rectified. Currently running in second, the evergreen, ever quick Lexus driver Aero from Sector 7 is in third. He's been running around floating around in that top three much more than I'm sure, particularly the Black Flag guys, would like. Sector 7 are really bringing it to Black Flag in terms of the team competition at the moment. I know Black Flag are just edging it, I think, but the team to watch, I think, are going to be the Sector 7 boys. Slipstream, I think it was Willard that got caught there because Slipstream is up in fourth, ahead of TJ. TJ's dropped down to fifth position. So a great start from Slipstream to get himself up into that top four. Hovercraft is running in sixth. The Truth, there he is in seventh position. Normally in eighth, so he's normally in sixth on a perennial basis. But he's got his teammate just ahead of him. I'm sure when he finds his rhythm, he'll get back up in there. There's Wiggy in eighth in that BMW. I don't know if the BMW is a great car around Laguna Seca. I'm sure that we're looking at things like the Porsche, like the GTR, like the Porsche, the McLaren 650S. That's a lovely move. Beautiful move in the corkscrew there to get himself up into seventh. We could just get a little on board here because you can see there he gets a good run up the hill towards the corkscrew. He's on the outside, which you wouldn't have thought is the best place, but he does a little undercut. Beautiful little move to get round that McLaren and get himself up into seventh position. Really, really clever, smart overtake that was. That drops the Truth down to eighth position. The Canadian now losing a couple of places. It is a really good start, really clean as well. So I like to say there's a little bit of shovey going towards turn two, but it was nice and clean, the way I like it. Bonnie Val, that's the one everyone's looking at, but we know Bonnie Val put in a massive 2-hour shift. Well, actually, we'll go through. There's quite a number of drivers racing today that put in a 2-hour shift racing around Daytona for the Bollocks. I don't know why we say it's Bollocks. It's Bollocks. The Bollocks Daytona 6 hours, which just finished not so long ago. Congratulations to Race Asylum team for their performance in that. That was pretty much phenomenal. I can't remember what went wrong with Wiggy there? Something went horribly wrong with Wiggy. He went from a great overtake and then this. What happens here? So it looks to me that he got on the power. He's on. It just threw the back end of that BMW out. That catches the Truth. Then, of course, coming up behind that would have been Woolley coming up behind him. It's all gone horribly wrong there for Wiggin. That's dropped him right down into 14th. Woolley loses out a little bit. He's down to 12th. Nothing he could do about that. It was just one of those things. The car just spinning in front of him. That another racing incident. It's just one of those things. The Truth didn't lose out too much. The Truth is all right. He's hanging on in 9th. Jay running in 11th place behind Avalon, who's in that top 10. But Avalon's got a great run down the hill here. We'll watch it from Jay's perspective. Running down the hill towards turn 1. And that's a great... Oh, Jay gets the braking all kinds of wrong. Has to back out. Could have quite easily got into the back of Avalon there, but backs out, sensibly backs out. And that's really cost him some time there. Absolutely cost him some time. But it would have been a penalty for him had he gone into the back of... Avalon, so actually did the right thing backing out, just got a little bit too brave trying to rescue it. Out in front, well, Tech Racing absolutely dominating at the moment, has opened a gap up to 2.1 seconds with a 1:21.2 on the board. Someone been practicing for this race, methinks. No, he's doing an absolutely fabulous job and really wants to bring this championship to himself, to Australia. So at the moment we've got, I think the big championship challengers, we've got Tech Racing from Australia, we've got the Kiwi Slipstream, who's flying the flag for Poland, we've got Bonnie Val from United Kingdom, we've got Stormfly, the Hungarian from the Netherlands, we've got Aero for the United States. It really is a truly world affair. here at the GT3 World Championships with GT Alphas. Literally many countries competing, and I love competitions like this. Not that I've not seen some great racing with just Brits or just whatever, but I do love it when you look across the board, and you look across the. I mean, look at this. We've got Australia, we've got the Netherlands representing the United States, we've got Poland, Netherlands again, United States, UK, Canada, Spain, all over, all across the globe. So it really is truly an international competition. As Tech Racing goes sub 121. Is there a 21 mid in this race? The pace is going at the moment. It certainly looks like it, because the gap to Stormfly is out to 2.5 seconds. Has he managed to hold off Aero? Well, at the moment, no. There's a bit of a battle going on here. We can go back to, Slipstream's got himself up to 4th. And this is currently the battle for 2nd. Sorry, I decided I finally needed a beer. I know I'm on antibiotics, but fuck me, I needed a beer after the day I've had today. Not going to go on about it. I've already made my little moan. So we've got Aero in 3rd, just up ahead of Slipstream. Started 8th on the grid. He got a great start, bumping himself up to 4th. I can tell you that of the top 4 drivers, 2 of those have come off the back of a 2-hour stint in the Daytona 6-hour today. Slippy did the first stint at midday today, followed by Stormfly, did a great stint for stint number 2. And 3rd driver, actually, Wiggy, who's currently not having such a great time. He brought it home, so he's actually had the least rest out of all of them. He was the one who brought it home and got a really good finish. Wooly was also in that race. Wooly has just come off the back of that race. Not long to rest for him. Also, who was in that as well? Well, Jay was pit crew all day, so he's had quite a busy day doing that. And we've had Bonnie Val, who did the first stint for the ART team, coming in 2nd in that stint number 1, putting them in a really, really strong position. Sorry, it wasn't Wooly in the last stint. Wooly did stint 2. It was Beardy that did stint 3 for ART. So these guys, you can either say they've had plenty of driving experience, though you could say that actually they've driven too much. Bonnie Val there with a personal best. Is he able to go purple in this AMG? He's certainly got some work to do to move up through the field at the moment. Out in the lead, and there we have it. That is the GTR of Tech Racing, and 2.9 seconds, you have to say. Absolutely bringing the A game to this sprint race here at Laguna Seca. I don't know how many of you know Laguna Seca that well. It's a racetrack I know from racing games. I've never been there. I've never kind of seen that many races there, to be fair. I've only seen 1 or 2 over the years, but nothing significant. But did you know that there's a short track version of Laguna Seca, which is available actually in the new, I forgot what it's called. Not Forza Horizon, new Forza game. And it's a really, really cool little track. And it turns a track that's incredibly tricky and incredibly complex into something that even a beginner like me can race at. And I'd like to have more opportunities to do it. I've just been so busy these last couple of weeks with stuff going on at home and hospital visits and the whole manner of craziness that's been going on in urban pirate towers these last couple of weeks, particularly with the lead up to Halloween, because obviously I have to go out and kill some zombies, because lots of little zombies walk around my street for some reason at Halloween. But I find a brick does quite a good job of taking them down first hit. Right, Stormfly, he's on the chase down. He's putting in respectably quick laps, but he can't shake Aero, who's just behind him, tucked right in there under the wing of that Porsche in the Lexus. He gets such good performance out of that beautifully, and the more I see it, the more it's a good-looking car, that Lexus. It's not a car I've driven much, but it is a good-looking car. A little myth about Lexus, there's an urban myth that Lexus stands for luxury exports to the US as a way of fleecing the American market for luxury Japanese cars. But that's not actually true. It's got nothing to do with that. It just happens to be one of their acronyms for something, which most of them are. They're either named after a person or they're an acronym for something Japanese that is generally not in relation to the thing you think it is in relation to. So to run up the hill to the corkscrew, and that is Stormfly turning into turn 2, Aero following in through turn 3. coming round to complete lap 8, and it's Aero still on the back of Stormfly, still trying to find a way through. I've seen a video of how... Sorry, guys, one sec. I've seen a video of how pissed you were yesterday. How fucking funny was that? You've been more wasted than I've ever seen anyone in my entire life. I'm surprised you're not still pissed.
I'm generally fine. I don't know for at least 2 hours of it.
Sorry about that. It was his birthday party yesterday, and my family went round to his house and got him absolutely shit-faced. There are videos of him drinking pints of rum. It was his 16th birthday, by the way. Please don't call the police. It wasn't me. I wasn't there. I was here broadcasting, as you well know. So I wasn't even there. I can't even be a witness. Slipstream. Up from 8th into 4th. 1.8 seconds is the gap to those two fighting for 2nd. And he's in a good position. If those two should ever come in together or it goes a little bit wrong for them, he can slide in nicely into that chase after Tech Racing. The problem, of course, for those two up ahead is that their battle is with each other at the moment and not with Tech Racing, who's disappeared off up the road. Bonnie Val up to 5th position. 4 seconds is the gap to Slipstream at the moment. I'm starting to put in some pace though. 2.2 seconds ahead of TJ, running in that BMW. He's in the lead BMW of the two. Doing a good job there. We know Wiggy was performing, made some great overtakes in that BMW until he just lost that back end. But look at that. That's Hovercraft in the McLaren 650S, and he is giving TJ a run for his money on the run down to turn 1 here. We are just past the halfway mark at lap 10. He's having a look round the outside. Is he going for the old switcheroo? It looks like he is, but he just went a little bit too wide, little bit too late on the brakes, trying to make that overtake round the outside. It's going to give TJ a little breather as they head down in towards sector 2. There is always a danger when you are that close, getting in the dirty air, that it just unsettles your car a little bit too much. So now the McLaren's got a bit of work to do in the sector 7 driver's hands to try and close back up on TJ, but TJ weathered the storm very well there and holds on to 6th place. In the Coors Light Supra, one of the only Supra drivers in this GT Alphas competition. That's Osman from Wales. 2 Welsh drivers in the top lobby. Who would have thought that the Welsh could drive? But Osman doing a really good job there in 8th. He's just under a second behind Hovercraft. So there, at the moment, we've got a potential 3-way battle for 2nd. Another potential 3-way battle for 6th place there. And it looks like Bonnie Val potentially could be make that a 4-way battle for 2nd, because he's closed right up on the back of Slipstream now. The Truth, currently in 9th, 1.3 seconds behind that battle. And they are still really close together. Only 18 seconds separating the top 9 at the moment. All seem to be lapping in and around that 121 mark. It's going to be very, very tight for qualifying next week, let alone today. Wooly drops back to 10th. He was 10th. Was he 10th last week? I can't remember. But he's currently running in 10th. He's sticking in those sort of 122 lows, 122 mids. He's got a decent gap over Avalon. Avalon there in 11th position. Stormfly's got ahead of Tech Racing. What happened to Tech? Something went horribly wrong with Tech Racing. Can we see what happened to Tech Racing there? He was leading. Oh, he had a wiggler moment at the same corner. Lost the back end. It's so brutal there. And through will come Stormfly. And as he's getting back up and running, there goes Aero. And what about, was it Slipstream? There's Slipstream going through. Just goes to show that this racetrack is a brutal mistress. We'll analyse that corner a bit more later on, because that seems to be where the biggest problems are in this race, on this racetrack. Bonnie Val also getting through. So Tech Racing was miles ahead in the lead. It's going to absolutely cost him. Anyway, down the order, there's Willard. He's running in 12th. He's got a lovely gap either side, 5.6 ahead. 15.3 behind to Wiggy. Wiggy had a terrible time early on. Cropper in that same corner. And Jay is back in 14th position. He gets it a little bit wrong there, but does hold on to it. So this is the corner that we're looking at. And it's a shame I can't slow it down, actually. And you can see here, as you hit the apex, you get on the power. There's no rumble strip really to speak of there. If you go over that and you just touch the gravel and get on the power, the back end of your car will step out and throw you left. And you have to be so careful out there to make sure that you're keeping it on the rumble strip and not going over it. And just that little, it's millimeters making the difference. And you can see what happens because we've lost two prominent drivers to that. But one of them, of course, being Tech Racing. So there's your leader, Stormfly. He's got into the lead of the race, helped by a mistake from Tech Racing. Aero running in second. He's still within 1.5 seconds of Stormfly, so they're still running relatively well with a couple of laps remaining here at Laguna Seca. Slipstream dropping off the pace a little bit, but that's because his concern is another AMG Mercedes in the hands of Bonnie Val. Bonnie Val having a look up the inside. Side by side they go. He's not going to give it up too easily and kicking up that dust. You can just about get away with it there. Into turns 3 and 4 they go. This is where mistakes can be made. Little lift as you go through here. Get back up on the power into 4th gear. Let the car just rotate around that corner. This is the big braking zone. This is where we see all the trouble already. And you can see that Bonnie Val just seems to have a little bit more pace coming through there. Both cars through safely. How close are they now? Look at this. Heading up towards the corkscrew. Slipstream needs to hit every single apex to keep Bonnie Val behind at the moment. Into the corkscrew they go. Is there going to be a wily little move from Ben? These two have already duked it out on a racetrack once today. Are they doing it again? Oh, back end stepping out for Bonnie Val. Just loses a couple of tenths. He's going to have to try again. And he's not going to have long to do it. I think probably 2 laps remaining for these guys. What are they lapping in the 120s? Bonnie Val done a 120.5. Phenomenal lap time. In they go into the final corner, heading down to cross that line. This will be the penultimate lap for these front runners as they cross the line. So 122.2 that time out. He's going a little bit wider down to turn 1. Is he looking for the old switcheroo? Late on the brakes, very late on the brakes. He's not able to do the undercut on Slipstream. Slipstream holding that inside line. At the moment, still holding Bonnie Val off. Bonnie Val now with the inside. Can't make the move just yet. And they're still almost side by side, these two AMGs, as they fight towards the line. I want to look up ahead, see what's going on, but don't want to miss the possibility of a last-ditch overtake here between these two drivers vying for another place on the podium. They've both already been, in fact, all 5 of the top 5 are podium sitters so far. I think TJ actually has podiums. All 6 of the top 6 have earned themselves a podium in GT Alpha so far this season in the 4 races that we've had. The Bonnie Val now just dropping off a little bit. Has had to make sure the car doesn't go disappearing off into the distance. And here's another problem, and it's in the shape of Tech Racing. We could have a 3-way battle for 3rd here, going into the final lap here for GT Alpha's GT3 World Championship, round number 4 at Laguna Seca, brought to you by Black Flag Racing. That was really cheesy, wasn't it? I just want to let you know now, I'm not going to sell out, because that's crazy. Not as crazy at the prices of Crazy Davies Kebab Shop, but crazy the same. Boom, boom, you see what I did there? Anyway, we've got some racing going on, and it is these 3 duking it out for 3rd place, although it does seem the gap has just opened up a little bit, just settled down a little bit. And the whole point of this race isn't about tyre and fuel management. It's just about pedal to the metal, get your balls to the floor, flat out racing as we love it. And it makes a massive change, of course, for some of these drivers that have been doing endurance racing today, that they can rev the nuts out of the car and not worry too much. So Stormfly leads the way. What's the gap? It's down to half a second. How are we going to have a little fly in the ointment in the shape of Aero? Is he going to be able to find a way around Stormfly on this final lap? Into the corkscrew they go. There's not many corners left for him to get this job done. Stormfly holding on as they go into the last few corners. Here, lap 15 at Laguna Seca of this sprint race. The first of our 2 races this evening. Round that final corner they go into the braking zone. Aero having a little look up the inside, but nothing doing as we head down towards the line, and it will be Stormfly that takes the big points. Aero in second, very close behind. Slipstream holding on, but only just from Bonneville, who picks up that extra point for the fastest lap. Tech Racing home in 5th, made that little mistake and it cost him. TJ home in 6th, he's got Hovercraft for company though, quite close there, all of them. Osman through, the True Serum through in 9th. Wooly, nice and comfortably in 10th, unchallenged really from those behind, although 15 seconds back. Have we got every driver? Oh, we haven't got every driver on the lead lap. Wiggy and Jay didn't quite make that lead lap. Wooly is through. Avalon is through in 11th position. Crossed the line in his 911. And Willard G-Star in 12th comes home to finish Laguna Seca sprint race. Done and dusted. How do you like them apples? How do you like them apples, people? I like them a lot. I hear you cry. Let's get a quick picture of this, because obviously we've got to set the grid for the future race using the finest of technology in the mobile phone. It was Stormfly from Aero from Slipstream. Bonnie Val in 4th place. Tech Racing in 5th in the end after that mistake early on. TJ comes home in 6th. Hovercraft in 7th. The real Osman. He's not Donny. He's not Marie. He's the real Osman. He's home in 8th place. You can't handle the truth. Well, those in the top 8 could. But anyone outside the top 8 could not. And the truth comes home in 9th. Wooly rounds out the top 10 in that GTR Nismo. Followed by Avalon. Then Willard G-Star, Star Groot in his BMW M6, and Jay in 14th position. That was great fighting on the track. Absolutely phenomenal stuff. I like it a lot. Right, there we go. That's that done. I need to screenshot these, don't I? That'd be useful for the results in it. Right, that's that done. What we got next? I hear you cry. Well, we're going to have a short interlude. Ba-ba-da-ba-doo-ba-doo. Ba-boo-doo. Biddy-boo-dee-boo. And I'm going to reset the lobby first. So let's reset for our features. There we go, feature. Load. Okay. Got everything we need, and we change event settings. Right, we're going to restart in about 7 minutes. There we go, yeah. 7 mins. Right. There we go. Very quick turn around this time. Everyone will go for a wee wee and a poo poo and a drinky poos. We'll be back very, very, very shortly. 2 shakes of a lamb's tail.
It's Friday night, and the drinks are on my mind. The decision sets in, one that will churn your skin. The love is right. Let them have their time. And I have this notion, let's keep these wheels in motion. In motion. And it's worse you thought I did not know. Did you think I would let it go? Oh no. And in time, yes, I'll think it's absurd. But until then, you'll leave your words. But lay on. Now it's time to defend your lies. Lies you've been feeding me all this time. And will you reoffend? Oh, darling. You say that you are innocent, but you're play on. Now it's time to defend your lies. Lies you've been feeding me all this time. And will you reoffend? Oh, darling. Have reached your lover's end? No way. Will we make pretend like we have something to fight for? Oh. We had nothing to fight for. We had nothing to fight for. We had nothing to fight for. We had nothing to fight for.
I have returned from my short pee break. Let's get this grid set, shall we, for this feature race. That was awesome. That really awesome sprint race to start us out this evening. Whoever's asking if you're lagging, I haven't noticed anything yet. So let's assume the answer to that question is a resounding no. We'll start from the back. So, old man Jay, we've got a couple not ticked in at the moment. Why have we got a couple not ticked in? We'll set the grid as we got, and then we'll slot people in as necessary when they arrive back. The two not ticked in. I don't know who they are as yet. It'll be Willard. Then it will be Avalon. He's ticked in. And some of the front runners actually looks like are not ticked in just yet. Avalon ahead of Wooly. Ahead of Wooly. Wooly's not ticked in yet. He will be back shortly. No, I didn't say Willy. I said Wooly.
Woolly.
Wooly, yes.
Willy.
No, not Willy. Wooly.
Woolly.
Wooly.
Woolly.
Yes, not Willy. Although, Wooly, that's your new name, mate. My daughter's just renamed you Willy. So, Willy is who you now are. It'll be Stormfly, it'll be Aero. They'll be on pole. Slipstream in third. He'll start out that second row. He's got Bonnie Alpha Company. That's going to be an interesting run down to turn one. Those four. Tech Racing in fifth. I tell you what, I wouldn't want to be involved in that run down to turn one with those guys. Mostly because I wouldn't be there anyway, because I'm too damn slow. But hell, that's going to be an insane run down to turn one, is it not? Are the others checked in now? Let's have a little look. Tech Racing, just waiting for Wooly to check in. Wooly, tick please. Hope he hasn't fallen asleep. Once he's checked in, we can get it set. Just Tech Racing and Wooly to slot into the grid. That was absolutely fabulous bit of racing. I've got to admit, it's been, to be fair, it's been 2 awesome days of racing. We had a really, really cool couple of races yesterday. Race Asylum versus Apex Hunter Racing. That was pretty darn hot shit yesterday. Some really, really tight stuff. We've had that brilliant 6 hours at Daytona with a photo finish. The battle for fourth, fifth, and sixth at the end there was something you wouldn't expect after 6 hours of racing. What a finish that was! And then we've just had that sprint race, the Alpha sprint race. It's been an awesome couple of days. And, of course, the weekend's not done yet. We've got the Next Level GT Fusion World Team Championships Pro Group tomorrow to finish us off for the weekend. But before that, we've got this awesome... I've got the word for it. Awesome. Feature race, that's the word. Right, Wooly is now checked in. We can slot Wooly in. Wooly will be slotting in. I forgot where Wooly slots in now. Wooly slots in behind the truth. There we go. In 10th position. Right. We are ready to go. Let's have some racing. What do we want? Race car noises. When do we want them? Meow. Right. We want the same kind of awesome respect down to turn 1, and then we want you guys to absolutely send it. Stormfly changing his car for this second race. I'll tell you the story behind that in a minute, actually, because he does it a few times. So here we go. That's 5 lights, and we are away. Hovercraft gets a little bogged down at the start, but look at that start from Bonnie Val. Bonnie Val already up to 3rd as we head down to turn 1. Pick a lane, pick a braking point. Don't go mental. Everyone braking, a little bit of rubbing is racing, but we are through. Are we through safely? Hell yeah, we are. We're racing, baby. And Slipstream, what a move. Up into the lead of this race. Already dives past Stormfly, dives past Aero. Bonnie Val gets a great start as well. It looks like those 2 AMG Mercedes with great starts from row 2. It's going to be a doozy this first lap. I told you to tell you a story behind the swapping of the cars. Stormfly runs 2 different Porsches. For the series. I believe Jay runs 2 McLarens as well. And the reason being is the issue with oil is that sometimes you run a race and your oil depletes and it affects the performance of your car, even after a short race, like a 20-minute race like that. So rather than leave the lobby and go and change your oil, which you should be able to do in the lobby, let's be brutally honest here. If you were working on your car, I mean, you can do your bloody setup for the lobby, so why could you not change your oil as you would do in a race car from the lobby? So they changed the car to one they know is fresh, full of chocked full of lovely juicy oil, and that's especially for the Just Stop Oil people. Just make more, kill more dinosaurs. Who would have thought that dead dinosaurs would be so much fun? What happened there? Bonnie Val making a move on Stormfly. Did Stormfly get it wrong somewhere? Because Bonnie Val's opened up a little bit of a gap. So we're heading down here, and already the move's been made by the looks of it. Yeah, move made nice and early. And you can see Aero there putting a challenge in. We can see Tech Racing putting a challenge in. But everyone making it through cleanly on to lap 2. So 40 minutes, different tyre and fuel wear. Here you've got to think about what you're going to do strategy-wise. You can run any set of tyres you wish. I think everybody's going to go with the Racing Soft tyres and run a couple of stints on those. So Slipstream in the lead from Bonnie Val, 7/10 of a second. The 2 AMGs just pulling away now from the rest of the pack. Stormfly, winner of that sprint race, is who's Distic Hadk. He's not a friend of mine. Getting a little bit wrong, but holding on. Just holding on from Aero, who's putting him under the same kind of pressure he did in race number 1. It's all about holding your head, having composure. Tech Racing up there in the top 5. Any one of those top 5 at the moment could win this race. I think we are looking at potentially. I couldn't. Right now, if you asked me to pause this race and pick a top 3, I couldn't. Any one of these 5 are capable of winning races and have won races. TJ running there in 6th. Now he's in a unique position, and I'll tell you why he's in a unique position, because he's got his pace. Look, his pace isn't that top 5 like it is with the top 5s at the moment, but he's very, very consistent in that BMW. And if there is a little coming together between any of those top 5 that could potentially take out all of the top 5, TJ could find himself in the lead of this race if he just hangs on to the back of that battle. He does have to hang on to 6th place, of course, and hope that McLaren does not get past him. The McLaren is quick. And he just has to be a little bit wily with that BMW. Just put it in the right part of the racetrack. Laguna Seca is not the easiest racetrack to pass on. There's very few great places to overtake. Strangely, one of the corners you would have thought would be the hardest would be the corkscrew. But actually, it's one of the... you can go too wide through there and make that kind of little undercut move. And we saw Wiggy do that in the sprint race. The Truth hanging around in 8th place behind his teammate Hovercraft. They are separated by, they've got the Osmond behind them, the Welsh driver in that Coors Light GR Supra. Wooly in 10th, that's where he started, that's where he remains. He is 3.5 seconds ahead of Avalon, running in his Porsche 911. Wiggy in 12th place, already making up a couple of places in that BMW, and closing on the back of Avalon. He wants to try and improve the performance after the sprint race, which just didn't go right for him after that little spin. Willard G-Star in the last of the AMGs, trying to hold off the McLaren behind. We know that how quick that McLaren can be around here if Jay can just eke out that consistency. And Jay is a great racer. And I remember when Jay first joined us, guys, in the old place. And I was quite happy when Jay joined at the time, not because we're both old, but mostly because he was very similar to my pace, and if I finally had someone to race with. And then very quickly, he started improving and improving and improving. And it got to the stage where I wasn't so happy racing with Jay anymore because he was beating me all the time. The one thing missing from Jay's game, and I think he'd be happy to admit this, is that little bit of consistency just ekes in. And I actually think, I mean, he's already made it. Now, you've got to bear in mind that had we run this 12 months ago, he would be solidly I mean, he's pro-am at the moment, but I think he's made a good argument, actually, to be getting himself a pro badge on his car. He's, racing in this top lobby. He's putting in good hot lap times, good consistent race pace overall. But it just now and again, that little brain fart and the car goes a little bit wrong and he can't dial it in. And I think once he gets that into his game, I think we've got a potential challenger for certainly big, solid midfield battles in J. Body Val has taken the lead of this race from Slipstream. Is this where Body Val turns it on? Is the tiredness going to set in from the endurance races this morning? Because Stormfly now has got himself past Slipstream. What happened to Slippy for that to happen? Mistake in turn 1. So that mistake in turn 1 has just dropped Slippy down the order. Slippy getting sloppy. Love it. So Stormfly up to second. He's going to now try and chase down Bonnie Val. The top 3 have all done 2 hours at Daytona today and are going to be feeling that tiredness, feeling that pain. We've got Bonnie Val in the lead ART car, the AMG Mercedes-Benz. We've got Stormfly, the Hungarian, in the land of the Dutch, in that Adidas Porsche 911. Slipstream in the black flag liveried tribute to Steve Coatsworth, who we sadly lost a couple of weeks ago. AMG Mercedes-Benz. Behind him, Aero in the Lexus. I believe he's the only Lexus runner in the whole of the Alpha series. So kind of flying a flag for that Japanese luxury racing car. Running in 4th, Tech Racing in the GTR. That's 4 different cars in the top 5. 5 different cars in the top 6. 6 in the top 7. 7 different cars in the top 8. Now, when GT7 first came out, and actually for the first probably year to 18 months of GT7, when you had a GR3 race, generally everyone has a Porsche or whatever car was the kind of the meta at the time, and they were all running that. It is so refreshing to see that in the top 8 of the top lobby in this World Championship, there are 7 different cars represented, 7 different manufacturers, in fact, from all over the world. No one's chosen a British car. Well, I was going to say no one's chosen a British car. We've got the McLaren in there, haven't we? What am I talking about? We've got the might of the Toyota, of the Japanese cars, the Toyota there. Bonnie Val. What happened to Bonnie Val? Holy hand grenade. Something went wrong for Bonnie Val. Trying to see where the mistake was made, where Bonnie Val was already dropped back. It looks like we missed the action of Bonnie Val crashing somewhere. So we've got Stormfly, we've got that German engineering, that Porsche 911 in the lead of this race. 1.2 seconds from another German car, of course, that BMW AMG GT3. Behind them, Japanese power, Japanese sprint race power in that GTR. Always a favourite among all these GT drivers. Hovercraft in the British McLaren 650S, another car to be envied. Bolival losed a few places. 7 seconds lost on that last lap for Bolival. Also in that German-engineered AMG GT3. TJ back, more German engineering in the top 8. The Germans very, very strongly represented here in this GT3 class. With the M6 BMW. Osman in the Toyota Supra. Repping it for the Japanese. So a good little splattering of cars across that top 7. Detruth's running in the McLaren. He's in 8th position. Woolley in 9th, just 1.7 seconds back. Aero, looks like Aero's had a massive problem in that Lexus. Did he have a little coming together? I'm wondering actually. So lap 6 was his problem, 136. Bolival, lap 6 did his 128. Was there a coming together between those two that we missed? There's front end damage on Aero's car. Now he's got to decide whether it's costing him enough time. Let's have a look at Bolival. There's no damage on Bolival, so maybe it wasn't coming together so much as just some slippage somewhere. So Aero's decided not to do repairs on the car. Doesn't feel that he's losing too much time, and you can see there that was a 121.3 that last lap, so back to pace. Fastest lap of the race so far is that 121.1 from Stormflyer. We know there is a mid-120s in these cars somewhere. 10 minutes into this 40-minute race, and Jay is dropping adrift a little bit. A terrible lap on lap 5, 145.4 for him. Consistency again, so that 22 seconds, he would be, without that 20-second loss, would be right up behind Avalon, running in 13th place. He's just half a second behind Wiggy in the BMW. Wiggy struggling here to find he had some really good pace in the sprint race, but struggling to maintain that form here, and closing the back of Woodard. Woodard's doing a fabulous job up in 11th, and you can see that he's got that racing pedigree, that real world racing pedigree. When you see the lines he takes around the track, clearly knows his stuff. And week in, week out, just getting that little bit quicker, finding more and more tenths of a second. There's a lot of drivers in Black Flag that they just improve week in, week out. And I love the fact that there is I think the midfield battles at the moment. Particularly, across the board in the GT3 class, I think is very good. But I think in Black Flag alone, the midfield races there are many drivers that can win a race at the moment, but there are also there's no distinct kind of top 10. You can obviously separate guys like Stormfly and Slipstream, both very quick, both generally duking it out around the front. But you've got drivers like TJ, you've got drivers like Willard and Wiggy and Avalon and Jay and not in the lobby tonight, Fubar and loads of others just like them, Yellow Sausages and Monkey Man Macho and all of those guys that can all really duke it out around that midfield. Tech Racing up to 3rd. He's 3.1 seconds off the lead of this race. He's got Hovercraft for company though. He's not going to let him go. And actually, it's a good little battle there. Bolival trying to get himself back involved in that top 3. Bolival not yet given us the fastest lap. Did promise, let's say he threatened. Because you've got to bear in mind that up to now, the fastest lap awards have been awarded to 3 different drivers for the 3 different races so far. Bolival vowed to regain that title from race number 1. But I think it could change hands today. So just having a refreshing drink. I'm not just drinking beer, I'm drinking something a little less punishing. Yeah, I genuinely think we could see 4 different fastest laps from 4 different drivers, which just goes to show the diversity in this series at the moment. Absolutely fantastic. Bolival gets an excellent run there, up towards the corkscrew. What a move! Breezed past Hovercraft, like Hovercraft wasn't even there. What a great little run this is, and you get on board from Bolival. Just so much extra speed coming through there, and it looks like Hovercraft had to let off a little bit just to right the back of that car. But under braking, what a very, very brave move from Bolival. Up into 4th place, Ben goes. got some works to do, though, boy, to get back into contention for that top 3. First target is going to be Tech Racing, 1.6 seconds up the road. So, we're looking at pit window opening soon. So let's have a little look at how we're doing for tyres and fuel across the board. They're all, of course, running on those soft compound tyres. And someone needs to remind me to fix the race timer for next week. It's too far to the right, and it gets cut off when the race gets long, as we found out in the last stint at Daytona earlier, when it was not demonstrating that it had been 2 hours, but demonstrating that it had been 2 minutes. So, Stormfly is on those soft compound tyres. Probably got another, to be fair, probably another 6 or 7 laps in that car before he's going to have to start pitting. Certainly enough to make it to that midway point. Same for Slipstream. Slipstream doing a really good job actually with his tyre wear there. Really looking after them in that AMG. Tech Racing, not quite so lucky. He's going to be struggling a little bit very soon with that front right. It's just eating through the rubber on the front right of that GTR. Maybe it's going to... Like, I've seen this guy drive with... I've seen some drivers drive with absolutely fucking no rubber on their car and still going super, super quick. And I mean, you look at that lap there, he's just done a 21.9 on tyres that have no business being anywhere near a car. If you took that for your MOT, you'd be getting a failure notice. Bonnie Val is struggling a little in a similar way to Tech Racing with the AMG, with just a little bit too much pressure on that front right-hand tyre. But again, lapping in those low 121s, actually closing on Tech Racing at the moment. Hovercraft in the McLaren. McLaren, we know he's very good on tyres, but again, not quite doing as well as those two front runners who have really seemed to have got the best out of their tyres. TJ picking up a half-second penalty. He's in a similar situation with that front right tyre. They've got to try and stretch it if they can to the 20-minute mark, to that halfway point, if they want to run a one-stop, soft strategy. Otherwise, they might find themselves needing mediums for the second stint. Osman, he's in a good position tyre-wise, certainly a good position fuel-wise, and should easily one stop this race, as will the Truth, who we know is very, very good with his tyres. In fact, he's so good with his tyres, I wouldn't be surprised if someone told me that he actually pays for them with his own money. Woolie's got good tyre wear as well. He'll be able to one-stop this with relative ease. Aero's dropped right out of that top 3. He's got that bit of damage on the car. He was still lapping in those 21s, but had a bad lap at lap 6 and just dropped off the pace a little bit. He's coming in early, really, really early. I think that makes sense. He's got a bit of damage on the car. It makes sense to go for a little undercut here. If he's confident, I mean, I'm looking at those tyres, and I don't know if I can be confident they're going to last quite the distance, because we're looking at about, what are we looking at? I can't remember. What do we have? 15 laps in that first race. We're looking at about 30 laps, I think. Yeah, we're looking at about 30 odd laps in the. So he's got to make them last 18 laps. Those soft compounds. Assuming he has put on softs, of course. He's repairing the damage. He's going to refuel that car, and then he's going to get back out there. Actually, the fuel looking really good now. I think he could probably stop there. Is he repairing the damage? He has. Okay, so he's got to get 18 laps out of those tyres. So it would pay to just look after them a little bit. Will he come out ahead of Jay? It doesn't look like he will. It looks like Jay has got through. Oh, it's going to be close, actually. I think he might just edge it. So Jay is up to speed. So Jay just goes through. Aero slots in at the back. We've got another couple of early stops. One there from Slipstream, another from Tech Racing. Tech Racing, understandable. The Truth also. So a lot of cars stopping early, so they feel that the undercut here is the way to go, and it certainly looks. I know it's a Huracan. It looks like the 650S. It's not. I know. I need to keep being reminded about that. But it really, with that livery, it really looks like the McLaren. So it was Aero that went in early first, and he's opened the floodgates for a lot of them. A lot of them have gone in and said, you know what, I'm going for this early stop undercut. They clearly feel that there is some benefit to it. Slipstream did, Tech Racing has, The Truth, Wiggy's gone in early as well, and Aero. Just Jay still needs to put, he's got some damage on the front of his car he's going to need to repair, but I think he's going to hang on until it's time to do that. So do these other runners now, do they respond to these early pit stops by coming in early themselves? Or are they going to stick to their plan? Is their plan to run that little bit longer, to run past the halfway point and give themselves some nice soft tyres for the end? Well, clearly not, because Stormfly has responded and he's come in from the lead of this race. Bonnie Val, he's taken an interesting route into the pits across the sand, but he does make it without dying. Hovercraft in as well. TJ in as well. Osman is in. They're all responding to the early pit stops and all coming in. This is an opportunity now for Wooly to make up a few places and do what he wants to do, not what they've chosen. But Wooly also coming in, but he's got some damage on his car, which would inform that. Willard in as well. Interesting. So the only cars opting to stay out, Avalon is staying out. Tech Racing is back out in third. Yes, the Stormfly is he back out in the lead? Where's Slipstream? He is out in the lead. It was 8 seconds his lead when he went into the pits. That's cut down to 2.3 seconds. So the undercut, incredibly strong here. So those that had to respond are the ones that have lost out, really. Tech Racing, 1.3 behind Slipstream. So that front three now only separated by 3.2 seconds. Avalon broke his way into that top 4. He's still going to need to pit at some stage. I don't know whether he's going to choose to do so. He may do so at the end of this lap as a response to everybody else going in. But I think he's going to lose a lot of places now. That early stop seems to have been the absolute best way forward. That's the not McLaren. That's the Huracan that I keep mistaking for a McLaren. They do look identical though. You put the McLaren side by side with the Huracan, they don't look that different. No, I don't give a toss what people say. Bonnie Val is out in 6th. Oh! Back in. Oh, that was a brilliant save. We have to watch that again because he's absolutely saved that from certain death. He comes round the corkscrew, comes out nicely, gets a really good run. The back end stepping out a little bit there. Gets a good run again. But here, gets it on that sandy stuff. Watch how that back end kicks out. But he rescues it. Bonnie Val is the king of the controller drivers, in my opinion. Not many can save that kind of spin with a controller or let alone a wheel. That was phenomenal driving from Bonnie Val. As you're watching Hovercraft up the inside of Avalon, getting that move and making it stick. Now Avalon is in the slipstream now, but he's still got to pit, remember. He's got Bonnie Val one side, he's got Hovercraft the other. They're both on fresh rubber. They're absolutely going to be challenging him. So it looks like this undercut has been so strong. This three-way battle at the moment. Osman 3.4 seconds back, can't get involved. But the longer Bonnie Val is held up behind Avalon, the closer Osman's going to get. Here's a run up the hill towards the corkscrew. Avalon's not going to back out anytime soon. Into the braking zone they go. But we've seen this done before. We've said that the corkscrew is a really good place to overtake, despite the fact of how tricky it is as a corner. But we've just seen how Bonnie Val has demonstrated twice in this race that overtaking there is a very, very simple process. Up to 5th for him. So that is Avalon watching those two cars disappear. Who's that? Parked at the side of the road. Trying to see who it was. It's not one of the front runners. That's Jay. Oh, he's got it all kinds of wrong. I think he was trying to go into the pits. Has he got a problem with his wheel here? It looks like Jay might have some sort of technical failure. He's been in the pits already. He's had an absolute mare on his outlap. It looks like he's going back into the pits now to repair that damage. Don't know what went wrong there, but that isn't good for him. He's really struggled today in that 650S. Right, so Stormfly leads the way. He's opened up the gap again, 3.7 seconds, 3.6 seconds I should have said. It's now 3.4 seconds. Over Tech Racing, he's found his way around Slipstream. Slipstream looks like he's made a mistake. because he's dropped loads and loads of time. There was only 3 seconds separating those top three, but now Slippy down to third. Slippy getting sloppy yet again, dropping down to third, 6.1 seconds behind Tech. And now this three-way battle that was originally Bonneville, Hovercraft and Avalon is now Bonneville, Hovercraft and Slipstream. Are we going to see a similar battle? Is Bonneville going to make a move here on Hovercraft? Hovercraft went to cut off the corner, realised Bonneville was already up the inside, had to back out, and Bonneville now he's going to get a great run down to turn one as they drag race. It is the not McLaren, it's the Huracan and the AMG Mercedes into turn one. Bonneville's got one overtake done. Next target is the AMG that they had such a good battle in that sprint race, these two. Unless, of course, Hovercraft can get the move back. Hovercraft is going to stick absolutely with the Amigos driver. Into the last 15 minutes of this race, we will go stomping as Slippy again kicking up the dust in the old-fashioned way. Is this where we're... This is the corner of death, really, this one here. This is where we're seeing all the mistakes happen. This is where we're seeing places won and lost, seeing cars spinning, seeing people losing their way, seeing people dying even. Oh, well, that's probably a little bit of an exaggeration. Osman back in 6th. He's 4.1 seconds back. He's not really getting to experience this great battle. The only battle he's got to experience is that one there. He's got Truth and Avalon up behind him. Avalon, of course, he's going to have to pit. Surely he's going to pit at the end of this lap. He's going to be pretty darn racy in the second portion of this race. But where's he going to be? Because TJ's only 4 seconds behind. Aero, 6 seconds behind. Not having a great feature race is Aero. 3 seconds back from Willie. He could find himself back amongst Willard, back there in 13th. And he's got a little bit of damage on his car as well. So Hovercraft is ahead of Bonneville. Slipstream now back at the back of that pile. So whatever's going wrong with Slipstream's race, it's not quite going all the way he wants it to. And we not only did Hovercraft find their way around Bonneville to regain that position, Bonneville found and Hovercraft found their way around Slipstream to both gain a position. Slippy was so quick out of the blocks at the start of this race. But it just, as the race has gone on, has just been dropping down that order. Let's go back to our race leader. The gas's been cut. Tech Racing is bringing the A game as we move in towards the last knockings of this race. Stormfly with a 2.2 second lead in the Adidas liveried 911 GTR, with blazoned, of course, with the great Valentino Rossi number 46 on the side of the car. Tech Racing's got something to say about that, and he's certainly having a go. We know Tech Racing's capable of a very quick lap. We've seen a 120.5 already from, I think it was Bonneville. Was it Bonneville? I think it might have been, actually. Or was it Tech? It was either Bonneville or Tech. So what we need to know really is can they keep the tyres going? Now there is a bit of damage on the front of Tech Racing's car, which could come to bite him. It will affect the performance, not necessarily that much, but it will have an effect on the performance of that car. Lobby 2 is currently going on as well. I will broadcast that tomorrow. I'll do it before the live broadcast of GT Fusion. Actually, to be fair, the gaps between the races of GT Fusion are so fucking long, I could probably put it in that. We'll see. So Stormfly leads by 2.4 seconds from Tech Racing. Those guys now, they're in a race of their own now. They are 7.5 seconds clear of the current battle for third. This battle for third is between Hovercraft, Bonneville, and, well, I was going to say Slipstream, but he's dropping lap after lap. He's just dropping off the pace and off the pace and off the pace of Bonneville and Hovercraft. So it's at the moment, it's looking like 4 different teams in the top 4, currently led by Black Flag Stormfly, beyond Victory Lane, Tech Racing in second. Sector 7's Hovercraft. He picked up the mantle from his teammate Aero, who was running in that top half in the sprint race, where he has fallen aside. Hovercraft has stepped in, and that's the mark actually of a good race team. Is that over the course of events, if one of your teammates isn't doing the job or up there mixing it, you've got someone else that can step in and pick up that mantle. And you find that across all of the better teams. We've got it here at Black Flag. You can see that with Sector 7. You can see it with ART. You've got drivers that will step in and pick up the mantle from the others. You see it with Race Asylum. You see it with Virtual Races Club. All of the teams, you see it with RWB and Hyperi, and all of these teams that you see that are performing on a regular basis as a team. Are able to just do that, have one driver pick up where another one lets off. So with Sector 7, we can see here, Hovercraft has picked up where Aero hasn't been able to in this race. Stormfly's picked up where Slipstream wasn't able to in this race. He's kind of moved up that order a little bit. Slippy's dropping down. We've seen the Bonnie Vals carrying the flag there for ART out in front. We see that Tech Racing was the only Beyond Victory Lane driver. But he is doing the job for his team. Shame we haven't got a few more. I wonder if there is a few more BVL drivers that race with Tech that would want to come and join us here. And it will be interesting to see, actually, one thing I will be interested to see from Lobby 2 is we've got a couple of new late entries to the GT Alpha series. It'll be interesting to see how those guys perform and whether they've got the pace to start slotting themselves into Lobby 1 and mixing things up with some new faces. I don't in all fairness, I don't remember seeing liveries from them, so they may, wherever they get, they may actually get livery violations, which will move them out of Lobby 1, whatever happens anyway. But we'll see what happens. We'll see if they turn up first. That's always a good start. Jay in the pits again. He's got more damage. He's not having a great day at the offices, Jay. He's getting on a bit, isn't he? A bit tired. Needs a little sleepy. Qualifying, of course, still to do for the GT Champions or World Cup. I know there was some qualifying today. Didn't get to catch that, of course, because of the race at Daytona. I will try and catch the footage tomorrow and see how we're getting on. Might even join them in the commentary booth for a bit if they'll have me. Willagista. There's still a race on for him with Avalon. Avalon running in 12th place. 4.9 seconds is that gap. That's Jay just coming out of the pits. I think he's a lap back, though, to be fair. He's a couple of laps back. He's struggling with this McLaren at the moment. So Willagista running in 13th. 4.8 seconds is the gap to Avalon, who's just got it all kinds of wrong, and that gap suddenly disappeared. What happened to him? So we can see here, he goes around turn 3 and just overcooks it. Just too much to the right-hand side, into the gravel, through, we'll see there, will go, there he goes, loads of damage on the car, and straight away, look at that, sideways action from that 911. So actually, this could be a very, very different kettle of fish. You can't park that there, mate. So he's letting all the cars go through, and he's going to have to get that car back to the pit somehow, when he can finally get back on the track. Devastating from his perspective. So Jay and Avalon not having great races here in this feature. 2 more cars to come through before Avalon can even get back on the track. And that's Wiggy just going through. He is finally back on the track. He's going to have to try and nurse this car home. He's in very real danger, actually. If Jay can start to find a little bit of pace, Jay might catch Avalon here and make it a race to the end. It's going to take Avalon some time to get back with that amount of damage on his car. Jay, with a bit of a hurry up, may well mix things up here. Oh, he's slowing right down to let these guys through. You shouldn't be doing that, man. You get off the racing line, but you don't have to slow down to that slow. Particularly when Avalon is totally catchable right now. Totally catchable. So, Stormfly leads 2.8 seconds as we head into the final few laps of this race. 7 minutes remaining of this 40-minute feature. 2.93 seconds the gap to Tech Racing. Aero now with the fastest lap, we'll have 2 minute 120.9, shall I say. We've seen a 120.5. If Aero can get themselves a 120.4, we could very well have our 4th different fastest lap winner in 4 races, which is going to be brilliant for the Instagram. Not so great for those that want to get a 2nd badge to their name. So Tech Racing has got 7 minutes. So based on 120 laps, we're probably looking at another... we said about 30 laps, didn't we? I think that's probably a little bit optimistic. Maybe 28 laps. So we're looking probably another 4 laps. Maybe 5 laps. Actually, we're not far off 30 laps, are we? For Tech Racing to try and close a 3.3 second gap on our current race leader. Hovercraft dropped off the pace a little bit, but comfortably in fourth. I say comfortably in fourth. It's relatively comfortable because Bonneville is at 1.9 seconds back. Needs to try and find a little bit more pace in that AMG. Talking of AMGs, Slipstream dropping well down the order now, down to 7th. Osman's found his way through. He's got a half-second penalty, and he's going to have to find out very, very shortly if he can handle the truth serum, or sodium pentothal, as I like to call him, or alcohol. Alcohol's a valid truth serum, is it not? Lots of people often tell you what they really think when they're pissed. He's got 2.1 seconds on Osman. Osman's got that half-second penalty to serve. It's not a super brutal penalty here at Laguna Seca. I think most of the brutal penalties are the yellow stuff either side of the track that tends to want to hurt you and kill you. But it's not going to be nice to be chased down by the truth in the tail end of this race in that McLaren. Osman, of course, in that Supra. Going to have that half-second penalty to serve. It's on the start-finish straight, so you know it does affect you, but it's nowhere near as brutal as the one on Blanchimont or. Oh, he makes another mistake there. Maybe that's the truth's way through. Big mistake there. So now this penalty matters. It matters a lot. It matters so much, in fact. The truth has made the move. Osman's going to serve the penalty, and now Slipstream is going to be right up behind him going into turn 1. How close is he going to be? Probably not close enough to make a little dive up the inside, but Osman now is going to have to find his rhythm again, find his pace again, and he's lost a place to the truth, who's up into the top 5. He's broken that top 6 duck. Into 5th he goes. We now have 2 Sector 7 drivers running in that top 5. 2 from Sector 7. We've got there ART, of course, Amigos Racing Team. BVL beyond victory lane. Is he going to lose the back end of that GTR? And he does. Now, some people will call that the commentator's curse. I call that the commentator's foresight. I knew he was going to bin it, and that's why I flashed to him. Bonneville into that top 3. Is it going to be another podium for that challenge, the championship contender, as Tech Racing losing the back end of his car? Such a crucial time as well to be losing that back end when you've got these final knockings of the race. We're into the last 4 minutes, lap 26. Stormfly crossing the line to start the lap 27. And he probably will get 30 laps out of this race. Coming up behind, I think that is it Jay or Willard? I didn't see the car. 6.7 seconds his lead now. For me, that looks a little unassailable. That wasn't Slipstream. No, it was Willard who was going past, not Slipstream. If he keeps it clean and he doesn't hit any pit entrances, this could be another victory for Stormfly and put him firmly at the top of the championship tree. Hovercraft, a lot of work to do if he wants to close that gap. In terms of lap times, Aero's still the fastest man out there. Stormfly in those 122. If he stays in the low 122s, he's all right. Those high 22s, not so good, because Hovercraft is solidly in those low to mid 121s at the moment, running very solidly. Bonneville got something to say about that. He's in the low to mid 121s also. He's had a couple of high 120s in there, not far off the fastest lap actually. Very surprised. I'm surprised that we haven't had. We got it in the sprint race, but I'm surprised we haven't seen it here in this feature. Now, as we head into the last knockings of the race, I think we should have a look at tyre wear, because I'm wondering if it's going to come into play for a couple of cars here. Stormfly looks fine. I don't think there's going to be a problem there for tyres or fuel. He looks like he's going to be all right. Hovercraft as well. At the moment, he looks all right. But you've got to look at that right rear and say, how long's that got left in it? Is that going to hold out? You've got to hold a charging Bonneville at bay. What's Bonneville looking like? Well, his front left is looking pretty shocking. So, front right tyre is looking pretty shocking. I don't know why I said front left. Yeah, his front right is looking pretty shocking. So, differing, well, the same side obviously, but differing wear for him and Hovercraft. They're both in a similar position, both fuel and tyre-wise. overall, I think. Tech Racing's got a bit of damage, and he's now got The Truth knocking down the door for a top 4. There will be no quarter given. Although the Truth, I think, struggling for... I think he'll be all right for fuel. But I think he's right to the wire. He might have to be a little bit careful. Is he going to be able to make this move? He's having a look. He's going to go for that little wide move around the corkscrew. Doesn't get that done, but does get a great run out of there. He is round the outside. Going to cut up the inside here. Tech Racing did a brilliant job actually blocking off the ways through. And that's one thing about Laguna Seca. You can, if you hit the apexes right, it is really easy to keep a car at bay and frustrate the driver behind you into making a mistake. This here, up to the corkscrew as well, is where you'll find the drivers make the move. And Tech Racing just gets that extra power down in that GTR to stay ahead of the McLaren 650S. Into turn 1 they go. Is there anything The Truth can do here? He does get really, really close, but not close enough on the exit to come out. I think his best bet is to hope that he can put enough pressure on Tech Racing to making an error. But it's going to be difficult to get him to do that. You know, we're talking about good, experienced drivers here. That's a personal best for The Truth, tucked in under the wing of that GTR. He's getting a lovely little slipstream every time they're driving down the straights, which is just pulling him towards the back. It's helping him look after his tyres, helping him look after his fuel, which is looking pretty ropey. Down to the last knockings of the race. Where's Stormfly? I think Jay's given up the ghost now. He's in the pits. Decided that he's had enough of this race. So here we go. This is the final lap of the race. Stormfly comes round the penultimate corner, down to this last corner. In he goes into the braking zone. 5.7 seconds clear. He will come down. He will take the feature race here in the 911. Gifted a little bit by some mistakes early on, but kept it clean and kept them mean. That's back on top after last week. Hovercraft holds on for second. Bonnie Val has to settle for third. Tech Racing held off the challenge from The Truth as they head towards the line. Has he done it? Yes, he has. Tech Racing takes fifth. The Truth fourth for Tech Racing, fifth for The Truth. Slipstream in sixth. Great start to the race, but couldn't hold on. TJ home in seventh. Another good finish for him. Good, solid midfield. Aero could not hold on, and he finishes in eighth. Ninth for the real Osman. That'll leave Wiggy to round out that top 10. Wooly home in 11th for Amigos Racing Team. Another solid finish in the top lobby for Wooly. Will at home in 12th. 13th will be Avalon, who's just about to cross the line now. And Jay will be classified in 14th. He's decided to sit in the pits. If you'd like to go across the line now, that'd be awesome. He knew the drill, but he quietly quit this race quite early on. He'd had enough. There we have it. The irony is, of course, if he realised Avalon was having so many problems, he might have carried on. There we go. A victory for Stormfly in round number 4. What a race that was. Very, very good. Both of them, in fact, awesome races with some great action. Really looking forward to next round. Where are we next time, guys? I've forgotten already. Shall we have a little looky-see? Maybe someone could remind me rather than me look it up. Yeah, let's have a little looky-see. It's in here somewhere. It's in here somewhere. It's right at the top here somewhere. I can't remember. I'm just trying to find. I've got so many documents in my files that I can't remember where I put off from. Oh, we're at Yamagiwa next week, aren't we? Bit of Japan, bit of Yamagiwa. Who likes a bit of the Yamagiwa? I do. No, awesome race. Let's save that replay. I didn't save the replay from the last one, but let's save that replay. I haven't got enough storage. I can't save the replay. I can screenshot this though. There's your classified results. Stormfly from Hovercraft from Bonneville. I haven't got you can't see the screen, can you? There you go. You can now. Stormfly from Hovercraft from Bonneville from Tech Racing. A good finish from another top 5 for him. The Truth in 5th. Slipstream in 6th. TJ finishes 7th. Aero in 8th. The Real Osman in 9th, Stargroot in 10th, Wooly 11th, Willard 12th, Avalon in 13th, Jay in 14th. Oh yeah! All done and dusted. Another week of Alphas is gone. We will part the footage for Lobby 2. Will be up tomorrow. But all that's left for me to say is thank you for joining me. I have been part of this. Has been Black Flag Racing TV with the GT Alphas GT3 World Championships 2023. And you can all fuck off and leave me alone. It's been emotional.
It's Friday night, and the drinks are on my mind. The decision sets in, one that will churn your skin.